Hi everyone, I'm Lorraine. Welcome to Kabbalah for everyone with the Order of the White Lion. What I'd like to talk to you today about is the importance of knowing ourselves. Know thyself is a familiar phrase to all those that already know about Kabbalah. Know thyself is about just that, getting to know yourself. And it's a process that we continue with throughout our life. The process for me of getting to know myself began in Malkuth, at the base of the Tree of Life. This is a picture of the Tree of Life. As I've already said in previous videos, that if you go over to the Order of the White Lion website, www.orderofthewhitelion.com, you'll find illustrations of the Tree of Life that you can use in addition. Malkuth is where it all begins. There are many, many ways of studying Kabbalah and the Tree of Life, but the approach that the Order of the White Lion and the Kabbalistic and Mystery School of Mart worked with was by starting at the base of the Tree of Life and Malkuth. Malkuth is also known as the Kingdom. It's easily identified by the four colours: russet red, black, olive green and ochre. So if you're looking at a picture and you can't remember, just go by the colours and say Malkuth is divided up by the four colours. So the journey of knowing ourselves begin in this area of Malkuth. Malkuth is very much to do with the nitty-gritty of everyday life. It's about understanding your wants and needs. And wants and needs that we often think, well, I know what I want. But it's not until we really, really sit down and think about what is it that I really, really want and what is it that I need. And to understand the difference between the two, a need is something that is absolutely essential to your well-being, something that you really need in life. Wants are more secondary. They're still very important. But the thing is to understand right from the outset, what is it that you want in life? Because the whole aim of Kabbalah is about living the life that's right for you and in line with the true nature of who you really are. So the journey begins with sitting down and saying to yourself, well, what is it that I really, really need? And what is it that I want? And that in itself takes quite a bit of thinking about, clarifying, really cutting through and saying, well, do I really want that? Or I hadn't realised how much I needed, for example, a home base. Some people, a home base is, I mean, everybody needs a roof over their head, but a nice, comfortable home base is really important to some people. A loving relationship is really important to other people. Some people feel they need to know that they're loved. They might need recognition. There's lots of things that we don't realise until we really think about it. And again, there's no rights or wrongs. So this isn't, you don't have to announce this to anybody. This is between you and your pen and paper to discover what it is that you really need in life and what it is that you want. And there's nothing wrong with saying that you want a nice car, and there's nothing wrong in saying that you want a nice house or you want something else. Is to say it's a personal thing, and it's about understanding yourself, understanding what it is that you feel that will make you happy and what you want to aim for, because we all need goals in life. We need something to aim for. So the Kabbalah is a way of helping us to not only understand ourselves, getting to know thyself, it's about formulating goals for the future. So if you've got something that you want, why haven't you got it? What is it that's stopping you from getting it? If it involves other people, then that becomes a bit more tricky, because we can't cut across what other people want and need in life. So again, this is where the Kabbalah helps us to understand that we have to find a level of acceptance if what we want is tied in with what somebody else may or may not want. So wants and needs, then, that's the first thing. And it's about, part of also knowing ourselves is knowing how we operate as an individual. And this is where astrology can be really, really useful. Astrology is a great way of understanding how you operate as well. Looking at the planets, we looked at the strength of planets in our own personal birth chart. So getting an understanding of how strong the planets are within your birth chart and looking at the signs of the zodiac and how they influence. So whatever planet, what sign the planet falls in your own personal birth chart, that has an impact as well. Now, a birth chart is not meant to be set in concrete, and it's not meant to be used as a get-out clause or an excuse, or I'm like this because I've got my Mars in whatever and my Mercury is trining something or other. Astrology is a means of getting to know ourselves, and so if we can see where our strengths and weaknesses are, where we can see that maybe we need to pull on the energy of a planet that is not particularly strong in our chart, then we can balance the energies more evenly. And I spoke in a previous vlog about the importance of balancing the fire, water, earth and air, and astrology is another way of doing that. It helps us to find out where we might lean too much on one energy and we need to bring another one to the fore. So astrology and the Tree of Life is a great way of helping us to know ourselves, and it's looking at the life that you've created for yourself. There are obviously variables and there are other external factors that determine the sort of life that we've created, but the aim very much is to be the shepherd, to be the manager of our own life. And some people, and I think we probably all were when we first started studying the Kabbalah, and when I say we, I'm talking about the people that I studied with many moons ago. We were all there to be guided and to be led and to have somebody that we can turn to help us to understand things more clearly. But as you progress with your studies, the aim is to become the shepherd, strong enough in your own self-worth and strong enough in your own abilities and confident enough to be able to turn round and help others on their journey. So the journey, as I say, starts in Malkuth and looking at your wants and needs and the sort of life that you've created for yourself, and also looking at how you manage your life, tying up loose ends. It's so important that we do get a handle on our life and we do prioritise and get our life in order, because if our life isn't in order, then how on earth can we expect other things to fall into place? Excuse my clock there, just dogging in the background. So I found this really, really useful, and my wants and needs changed as I grew as an individual. And when I go back and look at the start of my journey, it is quite astounding. It's a very slow process. In some areas it's not. It can be quite quick, but it's great to see how your life has changed for the better. As I say, just by working out what you want and need and sorting out your life. And that includes also looking after your physical body. Your body is your temple, and so it's about feeding yourself with the right sort of food so that your body works properly, giving yourself enough rest and enough stimulation. After Malkuth, and also, to say, getting to know how the elements work within you, the journey progresses into the realms of Yesod. So this is a picture of the Tree of Life. This is Malkuth. This is the next area up. This is Yesod. Yesod is known as the foundation, and it's to do with the emotional foundation. And knowing ourselves includes knowing how we react and respond, how strong we are on an emotional foundation. We had something, it makes me smile when I remember it, because it used to really, really quietly freak me out a little bit. We had something called the Yesod mat, and those of you that studied with me, this will probably bring back some memories. Yesod is very much to do with looking at how we are on the emotional level, and the vices and virtues. There are vices and virtues attached to all of the Sephiroth, and the vice of Yesod is idleness, and idleness is about not bothering with dealing with emotional issues. So if you think that something's not your problem, it's somebody else's problem, and therefore it's not worthy of your consideration. The Yesod map was a way of bringing to our attention that perhaps actually something is for us to address, because if something is hitting you on the emotional level, rather than focusing on the person that might be what you perceive to be the cause of affecting you on an emotional level, rather than just offloading it and saying it's their problem, it's nothing to do with me. If it's affecting you emotionally, then it's very much to do with you. So idleness is about thinking that you already know it, or you already know it and you don't need to do anything. It's not addressing emotional issues. The virtue of Yesod is emotional independence, and that means that you are able to handle emotional things. They don't affect you so much. You're independent, so you're not going to react, and you're not going to be so heavily governed by automatic emotional reactions, which is what the subconscious does. When we're looking at the subconscious, we're looking at how it governs our emotional reactions and responses, and things that we don't even think about. We don't think, oh, I'm going to react in this way. We just get on and do it. It's the habit patterns that we've gotten into that are ingrained in us that we don't even realise are there sometimes. So when you're studying Kabbalah, you're looking at cycles in your life that keep cropping up, and the patterns that you get into, and the way that you emotionally respond to these cycles that crop up in your life. And the Yesod mat was a very subtle way of highlighting to us that perhaps actually there's something that we need to look at. And our cup of tea was put on this. It was like a mat for our cup of tea. We had a break time. And so if you were given a cup of tea and you had the Yesod mat underneath it, it was a very gentle way of saying, there's something that maybe you need to look at. So as we progress, knowing ourselves goes on, and we continue to learn more about ourselves and the life that we're leading, as we enter each of the different areas. And Hod, the area after Yesod, is where we explore. Hod is the orange area here, and Hod is known as Splendor, and it's the splendour of the workings of the human mind, and it's where we look at our attitude, and that is another whole ball game altogether. Again, it's looking at the way that we think, looking at the way we communicate, and communication again is another topic, because communication is far, far more than just the ability to speak. It's the ability to listen as well. And then that can take you into the teachings of the Hierophant, which is way up at the top of the tree of life. The Hierophant path there, which is where when you get to the top of the tree of life, ideally you're a much stronger, much more in tune with yourself sort of individual. And the Hierophant is the ability to be able to hear without actually the words being said. You are able to read between the lines and hear what's not being said, so you know what people need, even if they don't necessarily know it for themselves. And the Hierophant path is fabulous. Well, that's enough for me for now. I will come back with more as I think of it. Know thyself, as I say, is incredibly important. If you want to learn more about Kabbalah, how to get started, then please take yourself over to the Order of the White Lion website, www.orderofthewhitelion.com. There's loads of stuff there on Kabbalah, loads of stuff there on astrology and the signs of the zodiac and the planets, so you can start to get to know yourself just by reading through the signs of the zodiac and getting to know the planets as well. There is a complete range of workbooks geared up for beginners. This is Malkuth, the beginning one. Very easy to use. Say step-by-step process, no long words. The whole point of studying Kabbalah and the Tree of Life is to be able to use it in your everyday life. So it's not intended to be an intellectual exercise for a chosen few. It's meant to be accessible for everybody. So therefore it's written in very basic terms that you can easily grab hold of it, because there's absolutely no point in anything, any spiritual study, if you can't grab hold of it immediately and put it into immediate use in your everyday life. That's enough for me for now. Thank you very much for listening. Stay tuned for something else as I think of it, and I'll speak to you later.